I was gonna leave him, but he's being an asshole.
I'm at point K12.
He's taking the fun out of this for me.
Extraction.
And I'm pretty sure shooting him is gonna cost like 1 second, so it's not a big deal. If I can get sub 8, I'll still be happy. And it seems like the rest of my route is still pretty good for that.
Pick you up there.
As long as I get good dogs here. But yeah, I think if you... Krauser 1 I don't consider hard. Krauser 1's not hard, but that's because you know how he works. Krauser 1 is very nuanced. The QTE is its own can of worms, but Krauser 1 is like... He's like a learning curve. You know, in the same way that Del Lago is. Del Lago is also a learning curve. You can't just be good at Resident Evil 4 Remake and just jump into Del Lago's fight and be good at it. You have to, like, learn how he works and play the minigame and all that shit. Mutated Krauser is hard? Well, I think if you're looking at the hard as how difficult is it to get this run, when you look at 4 Remake, you're looking at, like, a lot of kind of BS and a lot of... Because the game is so long, I hate you. Because the game is so long, it affords you a lot of opportunities to get screwed over. I guess I'll just fucking shoot everyone then. That I would say isn't hard, even though it's a bit of RNG. Well, that's kind of the struggle with most of the game, is it's like, it's not terribly hard, but it's, you have to deal with some BS, you know what I mean? Cabin... Oof. Cabin is like... Cabin is very simple to understand once you know a couple of things about it. But similar to some of the other encounters like that occur later, there's little things that you need to know in order for them to work out. And 4 Remake probably has more of these than any other remake. Like, I would say that I learned through, I don't feel much in 4R. Well, I think that's because applying those things, and that's because the gameplay for 3R is satisfying and 4 Remake's gameplay is not. In 3 Remake, you actually kind of get rewarded for learning a lot of this nuanced stuff. For 4 Remake, you don't get rewarded as so much as you get screwed over less. Like, there's no benefit to knowing, like, oh, when I talk to this thing on the wall and turn in an item, it's gonna break my controls for a second. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. Like, Village of Shadows has this too. Village also has this, and it's similar to 4 and 3R in that regard, that there's like a lot of moments where the game doesn't tell you how something works, but it's very important that you know how it works if you want to succeed. So to learn the pattern that's actual difficulty. I don't know. I think the OG Resident Evil, it's like 90% chores. Well, again, I think this is more of an indicator that RE4 is just a bad gameplay loop or like a bad gameplay formula. And it's not that it makes it not difficult, it's just that it's shitty and unsatisfying. You know what I mean? Like even Village of Shadows, it's like once you learn how to make it work. My OG run was way harder than the remake. I stand by that. I don't know. I think I got RE4 Classic in like a week too. It's... Hate you? Really just a matter of like, not preference, but I guess in some ways it just kind of depends who you ask, you know what I mean? But for me at least, I would say 4 Remake and... Yeah, probably 4 Remake and Village of Shadows are the most would be the most unpleasant. Because it's like, even if Village of Shadows is like a little more satisfying to learn, you have to learn it. You have to learn it. Approaching a bunch of restrictions. Well, I mean, that doesn't really count then. Because it's like adding restrictions to something. I feel like if you're looking at like, how hard is it? You know what I mean? Like as a base run, it's like for OG, the fact that you can add a lot of restrictions is one of the reasons it's so good. Everything is too tanky? Yeah. I think that Village of Shadows was meant to be played as a, what do you call it? I think it was meant to be like a New Game Plus mode. Oh, he was going like completely the wrong way. Being a Shonen felt so much more complicated. Are you talking about for RE4 Classic?
Gotta find another way out.
Heads up. The guys at the top just ordered a full cleanup on Raccoon City, so move fast.
Like, I think it is like a happy accident that Voss can be pretty comfortably played in New Game. Because it's like, you get so much money. You arrive at the castle with like 20k just from killing like 2 dudes and killing like some birds. You get a wacky amount of money in Village of Shadows. So it's like, you can kind of play catch up like really quickly. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I will die on that hill. I think you can play it in New Game. I just don't think it's okay, I'll put it like this. It is not structured well for New Game. It turns into almost like a modded difficulty if you play it that way. Which isn't a bad thing necessarily. But I think you can't look me in the eye and say that Bella's spawns were not a modded difficulty idea. That is absolutely something you would see in a mod. Is, oh, it's Bella, plus she has 2 goons, and you have barely the resources to deal with her. Two goons are exactly if you'd use the mine bomb and pipe bomb they give you. That's my point. It's like basically like a modded spawn. I'd say it's a bad spawn, yeah, and it's not necessarily the only one.
Hunk, time's
There are a
up.
couple of stinkers throughout the campaign.
Get out.
I'm not gonna just
This
leave
is war.
you.
Survival's your responsibility.
This is war.
God damn it.
Let's go. Pretty cool! Finally. Move. God, that took forever. No! I dicked around too long! It's gonna be over 8 minutes! No! Oh, this sucks. Oh well. That's fine. That's good enough for me. Alright. So that was Hitless. We didn't get bonked or bumped into.